involved in the community doing things.
The whole issue about elections, the candidate tell the people who are you, why you want a job.
Most of the major challenge in my GB, especially the young folks.
We want that tax to come with compensation.
Okay.
We empowered those young people with employment opportunities.
Okay.
For me, it was imperative because these were young people that were disenfranchised and marginalized in our society.
Even in the opposition, his political leader Bernard Ayer, zero disagreement with Costa because of that.
Settle with Honorable Cabinet Janet. We owe him, and it is already been said that indeed we should pay.
Would you, a Mexican, to be Liberal Honorary Consul in Mexico? The answer is no.
They are not charging the national president the fact and the truth of leadership.
Okay.
They are very, very unfair.
A lot of young people benefited from a scholarship, including President Chairman Molu. I look forward to a day when President Buya will suspend Mobake Molu for not controlling the partisans for attacking candidates.
We need to teach civics in all schools across the country. We need for citizens to know their basic duties and responsibilities.
The Constitution is for the people. And before the people make now a constitutional amendment, they must be educated on what they are making.
When they receive this information, they don't even verify. They don't look at the questions on the actual test. There are times I will give the children maybe 40 questions, they give us 50 answers. What do they take the additional 10 questions from?
We have gone through a process. If you realize that you are not satisfied, launch a proper investigation. Let this investigation go on, and then we realize who did wrong or who are the perpetrators, and then they be brought to book and to the public, right?
Show them that we'll work together in making sure we can get to the bottom of this investigation in establishing the perpetrator of the act.
When we have leadership, key actors, key players in the opposition community, we have protection under the law. But even right now, the Liberian National Police is a partisan police.
Presentation of the KMTV morning show with me, Amos Thomas Momo. It's another brand new week, beginning of the week. Today is Monday and it's the 15th of August 2022. I want to welcome you wholeheartedly in a very peaceful, peaceful way to another presentation of the show. And so what's trending for the week? You know, we had a very great weekend coming back. There are too many things happening in the country. Over the weekend, the ANC raised alarm of her youth, the youth chairman, that went missing. Later on, Mariah posted on her official page that the youth chairman was missing. And later on, she came back and said, well, he's not missing. He's alive, he's strong, he's with his family. And, you know, the reason why we're not getting in touch with him is because his phone was off, so he went out of charge. And so there are too many questions coming up. And also the Unity Party came out with this press release and that the government is in direct, you know, connection with the burning of the just elected chairman resident. I think on Friday we woke up to the news of the burning of the Reverend Dr. Luther Tappe resident, and that thing was it was very, very bad, I think. But now the question, some questions are coming up, is why can't we wait for investigation? Why can't we wait for intervention of security apparatus before coming out with these allegations? But we have a very interesting conversation this morning. We're going to be having the former Secretary General of the United Party, Mr. Mo Ali. He will join us very shortly, and we'll be discussing the issues surrounding, though he's not an official spokesperson of the party, but he'll be giving his stand on some of the issues trending in the opposition community and the governing coalition for democratic change. Now, Just to acquaint you of those issues we have on our plate for discussion, we'll look at the local dailies. I'm not sure we have correspondence this morning because we have gone 70 minutes now into our program. So we'll just look at the local dailies, 3 or 4 of them, to tell you exactly what's trending in the news. But just to have you informed, the president has begun a nationwide tour. The resumption of the tour starts on today, and I think he will begin with Montserrat County. We will be telling you exactly what are those in subsequent time, how the schedule is, why citizens are benefiting after today, because he embarked on it today. And so I think he will start to tell us exactly to citizens, well, I've come to tell you that, well, we'll do this, we'll do that, and we have done this, we have done that. And then we're to see what today ended with. And tomorrow we'll be here again to tell you exactly what are those things the president is telling to citizens. So we have this morning as our guest the former Secretary General of the United Party, like I said, Mr. Muhammad Ali. But just before that, we can usher in our studio. We'll be looking at the local dailies, and the local dailies will kickstart with the Independent newspaper. The Independent newspaper will kickstart with us this morning from the local dailies. We'll take volume 22, number 16 of the Independent newspaper, and this is the Independent newspaper, and this is the Monday edition, August 15, 2022 edition of the Independent newspaper. It says, "We are resumes nationwide tours today. Earmarks Montserrat County." We are resumes nationwide tours today, and earmarks Montserrat County. Citizens want Charles Taylor out. Solicit 1 million signatures. Can that work? Citizen wants Charles Taylor out. Charles Taylor is the former president of Liberia, and he's in jail. And now citizens are calling for him to be released, and then they are soliciting about 1 million signatures. Can this work? Get yourself a copy of the Independent newspaper and know exactly what's trending in that newspaper. Now going to the Analyst newspaper, just to tell you exactly what's happening there in the Analyst newspaper. And this is the Analyst newspaper is volume 24, number 001, and this paper is sold for 40 Liberian dollars. It's a weird Cascades heartfelt project to bombing. McGill turned over housing unit to medical staffs. New bombing college home on the way. So you see, they turn over the housing unit to medical staffs in Bombing County, and another new bombing college is on the way. So we'll look to see when that comes out for the people of Bombing County. Presidential tour resumes. Is yet then still in the Analyst newspaper. You see, the presidential tour resumes, and it starts on today. Hoping you'll be there to watch the happenings of the presidential tour as it goes on. Now that paper is sold for $40 as well. Now going to the front page newspaper right here, is I don't want to be VP. So say the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, and it's in the front page newspaper. I don't want to be VP. I don't want to be VP. And he's neatly attired in his gray suit and he's watching directly to the camera and saying, well, he don't want to be VP. We'll look to see. Now, the New Dawn newspaper, this will be our last newspaper. And right after this one, we'll usher in our guests. Like I said to you, if you're just joining us, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on your location, and welcome to today's presentation. Our guest this morning will be the Honorable former Secretary General of the Unity Party, Mr. Muhammad Ali. Mr. Muhammad Ali, you will join us this morning, and basically we'll be talking issues surrounding the opposition community, the Unity Party, though he's not an official spokesperson, but he'll be giving us his stand on some of the happenings in the party, and also the CPP, the government proceeding as well. Government discouraging investor. It's a government discouraging investors. Government discouraging investors. And this paper is sold also for 40 Liberian dollars. It's the New Dawn newspaper right here this morning. It's a government discouraging investors. For what? Get yourself a copy and check it out. My name is Amos Thomas Momo. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll usher in our guest. short break. We'll bring us back. This morning in Liberia. Today is the 15th of August 2022, and it's on Monday. It started wet, but I think the sun is up now. I'm humbled to be here. I'm Amos, and like I told you, we have the former Secretary General of the United Party, the Honorable Muhammad Ali. Right? He's our guest this morning. Basically, we're going to be looking at issues surrounding the CPP, the Unity Party. Though he's not an official spokesperson, like I said, but he be giving us his own stand on happenings in the party. You know, we're also going to be looking at his own stand outside the secretariat of the Unity Party. There are clues that he's eyeing another thing in the country, and also he be giving us his own take on the proceeding of the government. There are too many things embedded into this discussion. It's going to be very friendly, but it's going to be a bit informative. He's here. He's very tough talking. We're going to be having breakfast this morning. Thank you so much, and welcome to KMTV.
Well, thank you. I think this is my second time on the show, and I'm impressed by your setup.
Okay.
And well, I heard you talked about the CPP. I don't know what we're going to discuss about that, but anyway, I'm here for the discussion.
How's life going on?
Very well, thank God. We are doing great.
How's the Unity Party?
Well, the UP is good. We just had a fantastic convention in Banga, and we are back, and I'm sure the new leadership is on the speed and already working.
How was the convention?
The convention was good. It was well planned, well executed, and it was free of violence, and you know, there were fanfare, carnivals, partisans enjoyed themselves. They all enjoyed the processes. We were able to adapt and approved the newly revised constitution of the party. We were also able to approve the party's platform for the 2023 elections, which is unprecedented, because normally political parties will wait for election, 1-2 months to election, to launch their platform. This time around, we thought to have our platform well in advance, because we want all those contesting on the UP's ticket to carry a synchronized message. So all of their messages for candidates from the party will come from the platform.
All right. Now, the latest on the block is the bringing of the newly elected chairman house. And what I want you to speak to, why is it that nowadays in the country, there have been order of the day wherein people will not wait for security apparatus intervention or investigators intervention, but now they go about accusing. Now, the newly elected chairman, Reverend Tapper House, got burned on Friday, and the Unity Party came out with a press statement accusing the government of being in direct contact, in direct link with the burning of that resident. What's your own take on it, though you are not speaking now?
Well, first, let me say firstly, the reason why, in relation to the first premise there, the reason why people tend to blame government mostly is because, one, the delay government takes, the kind of delay they take in responding to these kind of critical issues. Most of the times they set up commission or they investigate, the reports do not come out until the entire country has forgot about that issue. And then when it comes to fire incident, like what happened at our chairman's place, fire started somewhere around 1 a.m. They called the fire department, the fire service. They had a whole brochure of complaints on why they could not go to rescue the chairman's house and his vehicle. One, there was no water in the fire truck. There was no gas in the fire truck to even move the truck. Meanwhile, the chairman is just a stone throw away from the president's residence, and you have a fire truck parked there. I mean, forget about the fact that this man is the chairman of the Unity Party. He is a citizen of Liberia, and the president or the presidency must always be in the position to respond to the needs of citizens, especially where you can in the immediate term. And so all of these things happen, and then it took like hours upon hours before the police went there. That said, I will not discuss the position of the party. The party has come up with the position, and I am sure if there is anything there to talk about, the Secretary General Amos Twell will better explain that. What I do know as former secretary is that before we come up with statement, such statement is discussed with members of the leadership and they agree to it, and the rationale is there for why such a statement. And I was not in such a meeting. I was not privy to be a part of such discussion, and so I will not know the rationale. But I am just saying, based on the premises laid, is a cause most often for people to blame the government.
With the premise you just laid, you think is something warrant you accusing the government?
You know, the government in our society, not in advanced society, most often is the first responder to critical issues. And if you think that the government has got the capacity and cannot respond to these critical issues, then it becomes a serious problem. And then people will tend to blame the government for its lack of sensitivity, for its lack of immediate response to some of these disasters. You know, natural disasters, for example, happen everywhere. They grade the government on its response to these natural disasters. If the government adequately responded to some natural disasters, they would press the government. But if the government does not respond, maybe one day after, before you get government reluctantly going in, it becomes a problem, and then people tend to blame the government for everything.
Now, let's deviate a little bit and go to the convention. You went to the convention. Your team, headed by Mr. Amin Munda, was not successful. What do you think are some of the root causes?
Firstly, let me let me reject the phrase that our team was not successful. You see, there were, I think, 11 positions out for elections, and So out of that 11 position, we won 8. 8 out of 11. We lost the chairman and the secretary general, but we're talking about 8 positions on the most powerful organ in the absence of the executive committee and the national convention, the immediate decision-making organ of the party. We won 8 positions there. We won the vice chair for administration. In fact, there are 4 vice chairs. Vice chair for administration, for inter-party elections affairs, for governmental and international relations, and for mobilization. We won all. There were 2 deputy secretary general positions. We won them. We won the Women Congress. In fact, for the Women Congress, it was almost a clean sweep. And from the Youth Congress, we won some positions there. The Youth Congress, the vice chair, one of the vice chairs and the chairman position was under protest, and so the elections committee will be coming out with ruling either today or tomorrow. And so there are a whole lot of other positions that we won. So it was not a loss. People just see that because the secretary general did not win or the chairman did not win, therefore we lost. No. But also, it was not about team.
Okay.
It was about the unity party. And for us, when we join institution, we commit to that institution and its ideology. It doesn't matter who wins. In the unity party, it is a win for the unity party, whoever comes out, because partisans are vetted before they are qualified to contest for position. So that's why you see we are not bitter. We went there and the delegates made their decision and we accepted graciously, and we are collaborating and cooperating with the new leadership.
You and Amin Muda served the Unity Party for a little over a year or 2 years.
20 months.
20 months, okay. Now, and I think the name Mo Ali in the Unity Party is a household name.
Absolutely.
Now, going to the election, the result coming not in your favor, what do you think are some of the root causes?
You know, these are discussions that are mostly internal. There are a whole lot of things that happen in Banga. There are a whole lot of negative propaganda, which I do not like to. After there are people who normally you would have thought who think that we need to keep the leadership, especially 12, 13 months prior to elections, and the leadership that has taken the party from almost nowhere, from a grass-infested headquarters to one of the most beautiful headquarters, revamp the structures and everything. But like I said, it's delegate election. It is not the broad-based partisans that are voting. It was like 337 persons voting, and so 337 persons. I do not engage into politics of maligning other people's character. I do not engage into the politics of saying this person. You know, one of the most surprising things there was, oh, Mo Ali is in bed with the government. The government bought Mo Ali a car. The government did this one and this one.
That will come to. Now, do you think that this convention was oversight, is the oversight decision by the standard bearer? Because there are clues that the standard bearer has this favor in Reverend Tape, then Amin Muda, and also he has a favor because Reverend Tape, you know, the team of Reverend Tape is secretary by Amos Toe, so he has a favor in Amos Toe rather than you. Do you think so?
One thing I can say is that the standard bearer did not support me. The standard bearer, even the first time when I became Secretary General 1, he also did not support me. Yeah, he also did not support Amin Muda. But like I said, it is an institution, and everyone in the institution has their right to support a candidate of their choice, their elections. But you are right. In an election year, or moving to election, most of the delegates look up to the standard bearer. And they look up to the Standard Bureau for clue.
Sure.
Because our delegates have always said, we do not want the fraction or infraction of having a chairman in the Standard Bureau who the Standard Bureau may not be favorable to the Standard Bureau. And so once they get a little clue that the Standard Bureau is supporting this person, they will most likely go for that person. And then so you have people around the Standard Bureau who go about, people very close to him, the likes of Jake Kabakoli, Magdalene Dagose, Augustine Kone, George Sa, who will write and go to the delegates and tell them, look, the Standard Bureau does not want Mu Ali, he does not want Amin Buda, he wants these people. And if the Standard Bureau did not come out to refute what they were saying, they are the closest people to him. They are seen with him every day. And if he did not come out to refute what they are saying, either publicly or in meeting with those delegates, the delegates tend to believe it, and we all will tend to believe what they say. And so the delegates primarily made their decisions based on those factors.
What are some of the lessons learned from the just ended convention?
Well, you know, there are many things. Number one, it tells me that no matter how hard you work in an institution, particularly in Liberia, there are people who just think that you must be the yeser person in order to maintain a position. And I am not just yeser person. I am not that kind. I look at things objectively. I work for the interest of the institution, and the UP must be above individuals.
Okay.
The Unity Party must be an institution that must live by its ideology, because one reason why we have survived one Standard Bearer to the other is because majority of the partisans have subscribed to this ideology. That's why the late Edward B. N. Kessley, the founding Standard Bearer of the UP, passed on. The UP still got resurrected in 1997 through Madam Selif, and then Madam Selif exited the stage in 2016. We had a new Standard Bearer, and the UP still remains strong. We fought to build this institution so that even tomorrow when Joseph Barker exits the stage, the UP will remain strong, so that Standard Bearers upon Standard Bearers and chairpersons upon chairpersons will understand that it is not their presence that make the institution, but it is the institution that make them valuable within the body politics of the country.
Do you feel disappointed?
No, I don't.
Why?
Because this is politics.
Okay.
And the way I see Liberian politics, today you can sit with somebody and they are smiling with you and they tell you, I am supporting you, but deep down they have other motives. And from the time I got very active in Liberian politics, that's the first thing I realized, that's the first thing I studied. So people's decisions in politics do not ever shock me. I don't get disappointed in them because I know this is the modus operandi of Liberian politics. The only difference is that I don't do that. If you were in a competitive process with somebody else and I said, look, I am for you, I don't want to have anything to do with the next side until after that election. Okay. So I am straightforward in my things, and that is the reason why maybe some people have got issue with me, because I do not know how to, come so and say I'm for you, and on the other side say I'm not for you. So if I am not for you, I won't attend your meetings, I won't go to your functions, I will not go to your calls, because I don't want you to have a modicum of impression that I will support you. So
as a what's your standing in the Unity Party?
I'm a stakeholder in the UP. That's the first thing. The second thing is I am, as per our constitution, I am a member of the National Advisory Council of the Unity Party. And the National Advisory Council is a respected body that advises the party on several issues, policy issues, on campaigns and elections and most of these things. And to some extent, it is the body right that presides there when there are issues. It is the body that the UP leadership comes to for advice.
You are part of the advisory council of the Unity Party.
I mean, just by the fact that I am former Secretary General. So
okay. Then why were you not informed about the latest press release?
No, so those are administrative functions of the party that does not concern most of the organs. These are administrative functions. These are administrative decisions that can be made within the jiffy by either the Secretary General or the Secretariat or the Chairman or just the leadership. It doesn't have to involve other people. When there are major issues, like on the issues of collaborations on some major national issues, and the leadership needs advice, they will refer to the advisory council, or if the advisory council sees the need to give advice, they will call and make the advice.
What's your relationship with the current Secretary General, Mr. Twe?
Twe is a very good friend. He's a good partisan. He's been part of the Unity Party for a very long time, served in various capacities. Under me, he served as Assistant Secretary for Policy and Economic policy and stuff like that. And then he's a former youth chair of the party. So we have a very good relationship. We don't have any sour relationship.
Looking at the standard bearer, not always supporting you, you have worked with him for a little over 20 months.
No, you see, I've worked with the standard bearer longer than that.
Oh, okay.
In 2017, I was the official campaign spokesman for the Unity Party, while also serving as the official spokesperson of the party.
Sure, I'm talking about you serving as Secretary General.
Oh yeah.
All right. Now, if you want to point out his attributes, his charisma, what are those characteristics surrounded with the former vice president? Is he a good leader? Do you think he's a bad brother?
If at any point in time I feel that the standard bearer of the Unity Party is not a good leader, I will withdraw my support.
Okay.
If at any point in time, despite and when I do that, I'll suspend my membership of the Unity Party, because our party constitution is clear that once you are a member of the party, you are under obligation as a partisan to support party's candidates in every election. So the fact that I am still a member of the Unity Party and a ranking member, an opinion leader, or key stakeholder, it means that I believe in his leadership ability. I believe he can make a good president for this country. I believe that he is playing a role that will lead us to victory in 2023. So he's a good leader. And you know, it's not because I say he did not support me makes him a bad leader. Every leader has a choice in election, especially if it is election. It's also possible that he could have supported me, and the delegates would not support me. In 2020, when we went for the mini convention, look, he was very bold to me when I went to him for support. He said, "No, Mo, I am supporting Amos Twe. I've pledged my support to him long before you came late."
So this support had been a long time.
It was clear. Councillor Kobangalu and myself went there, and Councillor Kobangalu told him Mo is contesting for the Secretary General's position. We came to ask for your support, and he was bold and said, "Oh, Mo, you came late. I have long." Amos wanted to be Secretary General in 2016. We talked him out of the process in favor of Eugene Nangbe, who became Secretary General from the 2016 convention. So I think this time around, he's back and working for the party. I think I should support him, because it's a promise that I made to him, and I want to live by that promise. So I said, okay, thank you. I appreciate your kindness. I appreciate your boldness, but I'm going into the process. And so we went into the process, and I won.
Okay. Now, there is this accusation coming from the newly elected chairman, Reverend Tappe. He appeared on one of our sister television, and he accused the team Munda, for which you were a part of. Probably say it's not a team, but your team.
No, it is a team. I said the elections.
Okay.
In the elections, the delegates went there and elected people. based on what they see.
Now,
but the team would have won 8 positions out of 11.
Or out of 11, won 8. Team Munda were not adequately, running the party per the thoughts of the majority of the partisans on ground that Team Munda had a divisive, environment, disunity, and the issue of mobility were lacking.
You listened to it, right? I did, and I was disappointed. And the chairman realized that the statements were wrong.
Okay.
And he promptly made amends, because we thought that after elections, you as the chairman, you should now be making reconciliatory statement. But I can understand, just coming into the game, the statements that you make in why you are not in position, you cannot make those same statements when you are in position. Like in July, in June, in May, there are certain statements that I could not make. I could not make as Secretary General. Even in my private life, I could not make them, but now I can make those statements because they will have no major bearing on party's position. And so the chairman was absolutely wrong. He was out of order. He realized that. And so to say that we ran the party on a divisive, what we tried to do in this party was to ensure that people were responsible for their actions.
Okay.
Was to ensure that the party was a party of respect, and we did that. It did not matter who you were for us. It did not matter who you had contact with. It did not matter who you were close to. What matters to us first and foremost was that the Unity Party was above all, was above individual interests, was above the command and control of a single individual. And that is the kind of institution that we try to build. And there were people who thought that I am too close to the Standard Bureau and therefore I can say certain things or I can do certain things, and we cut it off.
Okay.
Your proximity to the Standard Bureau does not put you above the party. In fact, we believe and we operated on the fact that when you are close to the Standard Bureau, that is when you should be more humble. That is when you should abide by the norms of the Unity Party. And let me say this, we do not regret the way we ran the Unity Party because we were very successful. If you put us back there today, there were little differences, there were some mistakes we will improve on, but our mode of operations will remain the same or even better.
Now, there's a saying that says you cannot teach older a new trick, right? If I'm Amos and I am adapted to a particular, habit, to take that out of me is just, though probably it may change, but it's a little bit difficult. Now, with those statements coming from the chairman, do you see the party holding on? Do you see unity coming to the party?
As long as he does not continue to make such statements,
okay,
and as long as he comes to the realization that as the head, the administrative head of the party, one of the foremost objectives should be reconciling the party or making the party stronger and more united.
Okay.
He will take the steps necessary, the steps that are needed to ensure that we have one unity party going into the 2023 elections. And this is something that if no other party has learned, we must learn from. We went into the elections in 2017 fractured, divided, and we all saw what happened. I don't need to go over that history. And so any chairman, their first and foremost priority will be to ensure that we have the party as a single unit.
The CPP is in a serious disarray. Are there consultation to having it reunited?
So let me say this: the UP is no longer part of the CPP. As you are aware, we withdrew from the CPP on February 16 of this year. And so I cannot speak to the CPP as to what they are doing or what they are not doing there.
And there are no intents to get back?
Well, I am not in leadership. I am not in leadership, and so I cannot.
But you are a member of
but I would say, from the work that we left there, the Unity Party is working with other institutions. We're still working with the ALP. They're one of our staunchest collaborators. Of course, we're still working with the Youngly Lawrence faction of the Liberty Party. We have an even stronger bond than before. There is in the making the formation of the Democratic Alliance of Liberia. They have signed their declaration of intent to collaborate, and their preamble is that Joseph Waka is their standard bearer going into the 2023 elections, and the new leadership has been briefed appropriately. I am sure they will improve on those conversations and we will make more gains.
When you were there as Secretary General, what were some of your disagreements with the ANC, precisely the standard bearer?
Well, we did not have particular problem with the standard bearer or anyone else. There were issues raised. The ALP filed a complaint that the framework document that was filed with the Elections Commission on behalf of the CPP was not the same and exact framework document that was signed on May 19, 2020. And then a committee was set up. I was part of that committee to investigate the allegations made by the ALP through its chairman and Theodore Momo and the political leader, Honorable Benina Yuri.
Okay.
The committee investigated and reported that yes, it is true, there were changes made to the document that was submitted. And so there were all the nerves started about. If you were asking me, if I were in the position of the ANC at the time, as standard bearer or one of its leaders, I would have simply said, look, based on these reports, there were some errors, there were some minor changes made. We accepted, because the recommendation, the mandate to the committee was that once the report is submitted, we all agree on the next step would be to withdraw the framework document, correct it to the version that was signed on May 19, 2020, and resubmit it to the Elections Commission. That was an easy thing, and as leaders, whenever we make mistakes, whenever things happen under our supervision, we take responsibility and we move forward, because I think those are the things that set apart a good leadership from the other.
This morning we have with us the former Secretary General of the Unity Party, Mr. Mo Ali, and we're talking issues of national concern. You can join us if you want to make in your input on 0775271672, 0775271672, and if you're out of Liberia, +231 775271672. You can also send in your question on our live podcast, and we will read it out to you. And I think Mr. Mo Ali will be in the right position to answer all of your questions. 0775271672 and +231 775271672 are the numbers to join us right here on the show. And we have with us the former Secretary General of the Unity Party. Welcome back to the show. How's it going?
Thank you. It's good.
It's good. Why are you managing to answer?
Well, I am always prepared to answer questions. This is something that I've been doing for a very long time, and it's no strange to me answering questions almost every day from the media. It's part of my daily routine.
What are your fears as we move towards 2023? Looking at the way the political terrain is, looking at the way
I'll tell you my fear.
Okay.
One major fear I have is And every concerned Liberian, every other political party has that fear, is the manner in which the Elections Commission is posturing herself. It raises many more questions than answer. Are they in the position? Do they have the capacity to conduct an election that will be violence-free? What kind of voter registration system are we going to have? Is it the same old voter registration system, or the biometric system as many other political parties are advocating? Will they be able to manage the elections? Because you see, when we emerged from 2020 senatorial elections, 15 candidates, 15 counties, I think only 5 were qualified initially to take seat. The 10 other counties, there were problems. There were problems with Grand Crew, problem with Riverses, problem with Maryland, problem with Nimba, problem with Lofa, problem with Grand Cape Mount County, some of these other counties, you know, Bapolo, there were problems. So the counties that were immediately qualified were Bomi, Mosurado, River G, Bong, and even Grange there was problem. 10 out of 15 counties. Now, you're looking at it. Will they be able to conduct an election that will be trouble-free in 2023? Because this time around, we're not just talking about 15 counties, right? We are talking about 15 counties for senators, 73 districts. They could even increase if the census is conducted on time and the redemarcation made. So we say at least 73 districts, and so 73 plus 15, you know how much there. And then you're talking about the presidential elections. Those are my key concerns. The other thing is, you know, I try to complain, and my colleagues say, well, there is no need to complain. We can just go ahead and do the same thing. You see that the ruling party has started campaigning, and the Elections Commission does not have the courage to tell them you are in error and you need to stop. So that is not, well, because ourselves we start our campaign too since the Elections Commission, and then we will wait to see what the Elections Commission will say. So that is the main concern going into 2023.
The president embarked on a nationwide tour today, beginning with Montserrat County. Do you have any fear?
Yeah.
What do you expect?
I expect that the president is now on a tour. He's campaigning. He has already started his campaign. That is it. And the troubling part about it is that they're using state resources to campaign. You see everywhere they go, if there is a group, oh, this other group endorses the president and all those kind of things. At some point in time, we'll realize that these are some of the things that incumbents do that are not right in our system, whether it happened yesterday, it happened today, or it will happen tomorrow. It is just wrong. There must come a time where we'll be able to cut off these things.
There must come a time that we'll be able to cut off these things. Now, what particular work you did for the government that they were able to buy your car? Did the government buy you a car?
It's all ask me for the government buy me a car on me. Look, if the government like Liberia bought me a car, I would take it. Because you know what? I pay taxes to the government every day. And people don't understand. Every single Liberian, even the baby born today, pay tax. When you take your $5, your $10, your $20, you go and buy something from the shop. You pay tax on it. That shop will not pay taxes to the government, and that's the money they depend on. When I register my car, it's a direct tax I pay to the government. Let me say this. You see, in this country, people thrive so much on rumors, to the extent that everything just become gloomy, murky, and all those kind of stuff. Why would the government want to buy me a car Am I a government employee? No. And I predicted something when I got my car. It happened, right? So we went to Ganta, Banga and Ganta to campaign on the by-elections to replace Prince Moi. So we're coming from Ganta that day. Councillor Jericho Bangalu was the one driving the pickup I have. And so right around Swakoko, the pickup engine burst, like literally burst. And so we were confused. So Charles Bravo said, I know somebody who can help. Well, the person is an ardent supporter of you. The guy admires you a lot. I say, well, I don't know him. He said, just call the man. So I called this guy and said, look, I have this issue and this one. He said, oh, Second SG. He called me SG. He said, SG, I've been waiting for the call from you a long time. What happened? I said, my man, my pickup engine boss. He said, oh, okay, you know what? Let's buy a new engine. I said, okay. So he sent some money and I added up. We bought an engine and put it in the pickup. A week later, this guy called me and said, SG, I got one car here for you.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, you like fun. You know, you've never met this person before and the person say, I got a car for you in appreciation for the work you do in your party. This guy was a supporter of the CDC. He financially supported the CDC. And he tells me, he said, look, when George Weah was pronounced winner, I cried, tears of joy. He felt so disappointed and he started following me. He's a guy that used to be so mad at me. He said, when he used to hear you talking on the radio, I would be so versatile. So he took some pictures of the car and sent it to me. He said, I'm shipping the car for you. So I said, until that car comes, I see it, I don't believe you. He actually shipped the car back in February. And so when the car came, he actually sent 4 containers. So one day he called me, he said, SG, the containers are in Liberia, but I don't have money to free them. He said, during your time, we used to pay $7,000 to $8,000 to free your container. Right now, they are charging of $15,000. The 4 containers are $60,000. I can't make it. So, you know what we do? Look for a car. And that car is so, not even an expensive car. He said, look for a car between $6,000 to $7,000 and I'll pay for it. And so I saw this car with Daniel Sando. I said, oh, I like it. So Daniel Sando carried me to the guy who is the dealer. And then I called him on video and he saw the car and said, well, one of my men get one of that car. There's a car, used car place on the bypass right near the Total gas station. The guy said they call him Fusi. So he said, my man Fusi get one of that car. He and I in some business deal. Once the deal goes, you can take the car. And so a few days later, he called me and said, as you go get your car. I only had to pay because the car now, the guy was selling the $7,500, so I had to pay extra $500. He was paying the $7,000. And so when I got the car, Charles Brown said, well, you need to make a post to tell this guy thank you. I said, no, Charlie, we'll leave it like that because time will come, people will come out to say that government bought your car. Charlie said, okay, we'll wait for that day when they will deal with it. But this is the same guy who purchased a car for Baron.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Baron. They all that publicity about one of the events in car. Yeah, so it's the same guy who did it. So, yeah. But then, you know, people will come out to say, oh, and that's where I got disappointed. Now, in an internal party politics, now people will set out to lie on one of their most committed and loyal partisans. When I became the face of the Unity Party, when no one wanted to be associated with it, I basically resurrected that party. And at that time, I could have sold out. I was a director at the Ministry of Finance. Gross salary was $3,250. I looked at that job, I resigned. When they were behind me to say, look, just keep quiet, you will stay on. They did it to some other colleagues and they remained there. I would have, looking at our economy, I would have stayed on and maybe even joined them. I don't do anything in the corner. I respect my integrity. I didn't do that. They say go to Green Crew. I say, hey, take your job. I work with the Unity Party. I used to sit to that party headquarters when nobody was around. And so at this point in time, going to 2023, I turn around and go say, oh, to go. It sounded so stupid, and people running for elections will carry such a campaign message around. That was the most disappointing thing. And I told people when I go, they ask me and say, look, I will campaign based on what I have done and based on what I can do. I will not malign the character of any single partisan, especially where I don't have proof. Because you know what? After this convention, I still have to work with these people. We all have to work together in the interest of the party. But when you go about spoiling the person, name, damaging their character, impinging on their reputation, how do you have the face to come back and say, let's work together?
Were you in any time called by the government to support them?
For what? By who?
Do you have friends in the government?
Of course. And let me tell you one thing. I do not play politics with hatred. We have different ideas on how the country should be governed. And that's it. They have their idea and I have my idea. Because our ideologies differ, that's why we are in different political parties. And I got lots of friends. As a matter of fact, Akaros Gray is a brother to me. We lived together for years. We slept in one room on the same mattress with one pillow. Sekou Kalasco Damaro is my very good friend. Mame Sikaba is my good friend. I've been knowing Samuel Twe from the time I entered the University of Liberia when they were, seniors to us. Even at the University of Liberia, we did not agree on the same thing. They were in the student, was Studa and I was in SOUP. So because today I am in Brakai Fofana, the Deputy Minister at Information, we go back as far as 1996. We graduated from the same high school. We quizzed on the SDA high school quizzing team together. Akaros Gray was our coach. So today, because Brakai Fofana is in government and I am in opposition, then Brakai Fofana is no longer my friend. I should no longer talk to him. If anybody sees that as selling out, go with your definition. I will not start talking to my friend. I will not break my friendship because somebody thinks that I am a member of the Unity Party and therefore the people who carry these gossips around, they go about in the night under the cover of darkness and begging the people just to be friends. I don't do it. They are my friends.
Just before we come to other issues in government, there are clues that you'll be on the ballot comes 2023. As to use that.
Well, so as far back as 2020, even before I became Secretary General, there are colleagues who've always told me, look, you lived in District 5 for a very long time. We think you should contest. One of such person, the first person to have ever contacted me on that was colleagues of yours in the media, Charles Yates. And I said, Charlie, let's hold on. And so this call grew out. And so in recent time, my partisans, members of the leadership of the UP say, we are now waiting for you. We'll set up an exploratory committee and they will do the exploration, and afterward we are drafting you to contest. And they've been doing extremely well, so I have consented to contest on the tickets of the Unity Party for representative in District 5.
Wow. So you hear it, you have consented to contest the ticket of the Unity Party in District 5 comes 2023. What are some of the things people in the district are saying? Are they happy about it? Do you see it being successful?
Well, it's an electoral process. It's a monumental task. It's a very big work that I have to do. Obviously, there are issues that people have with me, and I am so glad that when we are engaging them, they are able to say, look to my face and say, look, these are the problems that we have. We think you're a good person. We think you can make a good representative, but you need to work on X, Y, Z. Like people will say, oh, when you're passing, you don't speak to people, your car windshields are always up and this and that. So, you know, in one of the meetings over the weekend, I told the guys, I said, well, my car windshield is not up because I wanted to be up. It's because of my security. On several occasions, you all know that I have been attacked. In broad daylight at the Elections Commission, people just walk and smash the vehicle. And at one point in time, I was riding, and when she was actually dying, and the guys parked on the motorbike, I was just glad that other people were around. He actually attempted throwing something into the vehicle. Then I also used to jog along the police academy and stuff like that. One day, some of my colleagues realized something. They went and they came back. They said, get in the car. They put me in the car and carry me home. They say, you can never jog along this road alone. Most recently, I got one money change guy always inter our way. Went to him like around 7 and he said, my man, just drop me home. Coming down to the car wash in the police academy. When I parked there, is this black Jeep parked right behind me. I wanted to make a U-turn. Every time I want to turn, the guy would block me. So the boy got down, so I said, let me park when he would leave. The boy got down and said, but the man wanted to turn around and said, no, I'm telling him, they'll go on the boulevard, he will see what I will do to him. And then a day, on that same day in the morning hours, I received some threatening text messages. So I just find it compelling that because of my personal security, I should not be that exposed. It may not be, you know, there are zealots around. I will not say government send people to harm me or this and that, but there are zealots around who think they support government, and I am one of the most critical voices against the government. They'll just harm me thinking that doing good for government. And so I have to preserve my own security, because I'm not this person who want to be moving around. You see people behind you, you security. No, I don't do that. So when I explain to them, oh, you know, yeah, that's true, but let's work together. Let's move on. Already, you have a name recognition in other places. People went, well, we already know the name. We just want to match the face with the name.
I know you managed not to bring the windshield down a little bit.
No, so, you know, there's one thing I told the people. I don't fake, right? I'm not a guy who fake. I came from a very poor background. As a matter of fact, in my entire family, I'm the only person that have achieved this level of education. When I explain my story to them, like at times when I was in high school, SDA, I used to walk from Douala to Kim Johnson Road. In the 11th grade, second semester, I became a janitor at that school. I will not compromise my personal security because of that. And I also told them, I said, so it's not because I want to be representative, then I'll just get my car windshield and I just be passing, oh, hello. When you fake your personality, I told the people, when you fake your personality and you are elected tomorrow, then you go back to being who you are. I want people to know me for who I am. So that even if I am elected, if and when I am elected tomorrow, they know me, there will be no personality change. You know, there are other things that I can work on definitely, but let me not change my personality because then I will be deceitful, I will be campaigning on lies and deceit, and tomorrow, if I am elected, I will be a representative, I will be deceiving the people, I will be governing myself based on lies and deceit.
Now the caption change. I have with us the Honorable former Secretary General of the Unity Party, now Representative Hopeful, District 5, Montserrat County. He's with us this morning, and just to see tell you who is joining us, Abraham Political Modric Sidhu. He joined us this morning from the Bureau. He's at the headquarters of the Veteran Bureau. He joined us. And okay. Now V. Louis Conan, he said, hi, Maxine Pacquiao. He joined us from the UK. It's a great interview. Thank you so much, Maxine, for joining us. And also Odimon Wisse, he said, Zimo Lee Briggs Sayon. He said, I'm watching you from my office, the Nature Compacts FE Lakwasi. He joined us, and couples of people joining us here to the interview. What kind? Which kind of lawmaker are you going to be if you are successful?
You know, I want to aspire to be a better Darius Dillon.
Okay.
Here is a reason why. I thought Darius Dillon has done tremendously well in the Senate. Like him or hate him, he has made some changes to come over there. When we campaigned for him, we did not campaign on lies.
Okay.
We told the people these are the things that Dillon will do. Do not expect Senator Dillon to build roads. Do not expect Senator Dillon to build hospitals. Do not expect him to build clinics or schools. But Dillon will advocate for the people in the Senate. Dillon will advocate for change in the Senate. Dillon will be your official chichipule in the Senate. Anything that happens there, he will bring it. So I want to help him in the House of Representatives to be that kind of representative who will advocate genuinely for the people, who will accept to be criticized by the people. And I was telling the other people, I say, they're retired senators. But when something happens in the Senate, the first and most time only person we go for is Senator Dillon. And the reason that is so is because the people spend their money to get him elected as opposed to him giving them money. So be a people-centered person where people can run to you to say, okay, we observe so thing in the House of Representatives, we think you should do it this way. Work based on the people's recommendation.
Okay, we'll find ample time so you come and talk. So we talk about your dreams and aspirations for the people of District 5. What do you make of McGill's statement? In Bond County, he made a statement, link him to a little bit of corruption, say in the public, and that even if I steal money and build houses within the country, yeah, being in the country,
no.
I just like to ask it wrong.
Even if and this and that, I think we've been saying from day one that this government has immersed itself into corruption from the get-go, and that the government is permeated by corruption from the very top. Mr. McGill just admitted to that. There is no other way you can put it. The only thing they are doing this time, and remember, this is not only Minister McGill saying it. Thomas Fowler said that in Lofa. He said the other people can steal the money, they carry our people can steal the money, we bring it to you, we develop them. Look, McGill is just saying the same thing. I build my house here, then a verse. But the question I ask is that the house you build, the property you're building, you calling it development, is it for the people? For example, your house in Bond County, you talk about that the whole Bond County is sleeping inside. Do the citizens of Bond County go there to sit in the living room? They are just giving justification. They are not denying this time around. The government is not denying that they are corrupt. Individuals in the government are not denying that they are corrupt. They are only giving you justification for their high level of corruption. That is troubling.
Okay.
And so when we say, oh no, we're not saying anything. Look, if you are not corrupt, if you are not stealing, let's put it that way, there will be no point in time for you to go to the public and make such a statement, because you will understand that corruption has kept our country very, very backward. In 1980, when they executed the people, what did they execute them for? They didn't execute them for murder. They didn't execute them for any other thing. They execute them for quote-unquote rampant corruption.
Okay.
That was the mantle on which Samuel Kedo and the other 16 persons, Kuwangba and the others, overthrew the Toba government. They said rampant corruption. It is the same thing one of the major reasons why Mr. Taylor prosecuted the war from 1989 up to 1997 up to 2003. And so if you now begin to say, yeah, our government is corrupt, well, the only thing the Liberian people can do when not go back for a war is to vote them out in 2023.
The issue of violence in the country is becoming the order of the day. In few days, most especially the one that has to do with violent protestation. Quote unquote, there are young individuals from the CDC COP, though the president says he's not aware of them. The CDC COP brutalized students from the Students' Unification Party. As it stands, they were invited, not even arrested, they were invited to the headquarters of the Liberian National Police. And later on, a bond was filed by the government or the CDC lawyer, Councillor Arthur Johnson. And we are yet to get any info as it relates to that. Now, so Honorable Yeke Koluba, who is part of the, who is also your colleague, is coming out of this opposition protection unit. Do you think with all of those things happening in the security sector, violence, and individuals or lawmakers coming out with SER Group, there are two questions, right? SER Group, do you think is creating a very safe or civil environment for our democracy?
Look, the first thing is I thought it was hypocritical for the president to say that there were no CDC COP. These guys were part of the COP.
Petro Costa.
I am a founding member of the COP. As a matter of fact, I am the first presiding officer of the COP and the founding secretary general. Ben Toba and others were part. Ben Toba was our youth chair. Because of his crony behavior, his recklessness, his penchant for violence, we decided to do away with him. They gathered themselves and went to the CDC. They had a very big program for them. All of them were there. They have had honoring programs for members of the CDC. But here is my thing. They did not carry out this act of violence in secret. It was live on internet televisions. And the police will not say a word even after they have watched the clip. The president will not say a word even after he has watched the clip. The Justice Ministry will not say a word even after the entire ministry have watched the clip, until 7 days after, when our international partners condemn it. When we were talking about it, they did not care, because they thought that those boys were doing them favor by clamping down on critical voices. You cannot clamp down on the Student Unification Party. They've been around since 1970, and the soup is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. I was there. I was a member of soup. We engaged into demonstrations. We were treated the same way. Those government have treated us like that. And I remember 2001, March 21, ATU, by then they had their base at Pan-African Plaza, the building that hosting the UN headquarters. And then the SOD, led by Sagboli, invaded the University of Liberia campus because SUP was having a rally. They beat us up, beat students, incarcerated some of them. That government is gone. SUP is still around. You cannot tell me you did not see it. You have to wait 6-7 days after before you come out to make statements, simply because international partners have spoken. It tells me that if the international partners have not spoken, you would not have made any statement. They wouldn't have made any statement had the partners not spoken. That is the clear-cut fact. And you see, in governance, we have to be responsible. You necessarily don't have to wait until your partners come out to condemn you before you know what was what was done is wrong.
Okay.
Coming to Yeke, look, the very fact that the government cannot provide security for critical voices, we have police people who will sit and allow violence to be perpetrated against opposition people. It happened to us in District 13 during the by-election there. It happened to us in District 15. Tidia was attacked, her group was attacked, we were all attacked, our car was burned, and the police stood by and watched everything happening. If the system cannot protect us, then we must do something to protect ourselves. And that's why I agree with Honorable Yeke Koloba. He must be able to protect himself. And if he has the capacity to protect some of us who cannot protect ourselves, we applaud him for that.
Just before we conclude with you, with all of this happening in the security sector, the issue of violence is turning even more than it was. Do you see the 2023 election being a bloody one?
I will hope not so. I am hoping that the government can begin to come to her senses so that they can be in the position to provide security for everyone. Because mind you, if opposition figures get attacked during campaign period or periods leading up to campaign, they will retaliate. If I am attacked, I will retaliate.
By what means?
Eh?
By what means?
The same means through which I will attack. Nobody going to sit down for somebody to come kill you here, or they hear you, then you be laying in hospital.
So it means that
if
stone was thrown at you,
which one right you? That's serious thing. Okay. So government must act now, the security apparatus must act now to ensure that nobody is throwing stone at the others. Because when you throw stone at us, we will throw stone back. That is a clear-cut message that they should get. Nobody come and sit down. When they hear you, today you go, you sit down that your one will feel the pain. At least when you hear me, I hear you too. We all go feeling our pain. Then we will know next time not to attack each other.
That's a strong statement coming out of the representative Hopeful of District 5. Is also the former Secretary General. Finally, is there anything you wanted to touch on that we didn't talk about?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, when I was Secretary General, I could not talk about this. In many interviews, people are asking me, what would be your ideal choice for running mate to Joseph Boakai? And I have been absolutely clear on my choice. I've always said my choice from day one, even in the CPP, has been Yomdi Kanga Lawrence. I believe that our standard bearer should take Yomdi Kanga Lawrence to be his running mate for several reasons.
What are some of the reasons?
Justifiable reasons. Number one, Yomdi Kanga Lawrence appeals to a set of voters, young set of voters. Number two, Yomdi Kanga Lawrence appealed to women voters. Number three, Yomdi Kanga Lawrence appeal or has a region and an ethnic group that is the second largest, which I believe will galvanize their support behind her. Yomdi Kanga Lawrence has been a senator for a long time, and I believe that she has acquired the relevant experience to become vice president who will preside over the Senate. I think she is prepared for the mantle of authority. Lastly, we have to cement our relationship with the people of the Liberty Party. They have proven consistently to be a party of a formidable force in our body politics too.
Just lastly, do you think the invite to the president to visit Washington is something in the best interest of Liberia?
Let me tell you something. Anything that brings good to Liberia, I am for it. I would hope that if the president went, the Americans should be able to look him in the face and tell him, like they stated in the report, that your government is corrupt, that your government is supporting violence against opposition, that you have sat there and witnessed violence act against opposition people, and you have said, sometimes these verses are good, so that the people who we depend on can be able to look our leaders in their faces and tell them there are shortcomings, there are wrongdoing. Like during this it was a bicentennial celebration here. The American delegation came in their statements at the stadium. They were able to tell the government, you are very much corrupt, you are not helping your country. Go there so they can look you in the face and tell you, maybe if you're a good leader, when you come, you have some sober reflection and begin to change things.
Thank you so much for passing through this morning.
Thank
Hoping
you.
we can have more of these conversations.
Absolutely, I'm always prepared.
He's Mr. Mo Ali, former Secretary General of the Unity Party, now Representative Hopeful, District 5, Montserrat County. He's been our guest. We've been having a wide range on national issues discussion. On tomorrow, we're going to be here with another trending and fire-burning discussion. Hoping you join us tomorrow, same time. And I want to say thanks to all of our followers, hoping that you keep following us and making your suggestions, asking your questions, and making the KMTV morning show a better one. My name is Amos Thomas Momo. Thanks to our technical staff here, and we're hoping that we can be here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Money.